Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three wide open threes in the first half. Overall, Coach said in the locker room, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game.
Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye 2 minutes into her first WNBA playoff game. You'd think that'd be the worst part, but wait till you hear what happened next. This game had more ups and downs than a roller coaster, and Clark was in for a wild ride.
With no whistle. Now there's nothing Indiana.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's talk about Clark's rookie season for a sec. She wasn't just good, she was unreal. Rookie of the year, check. 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game? That's not rookie numbers, that's superstar stuff. So when playoff time rolled around, fans were hyped. Everyone thought Clark was gonna light it up like fireworks on the 4th of July. But then, bam, 2 minutes in, she gets poked in the eye. Talk about a mood killer. Suddenly everyone's wondering if Clark can bounce back. You think getting poked in the eye was bad? Just wait until you hear what happened next. Remember how Clark dominated all season long? Tonight was different. Imagine the league's hottest rookie suddenly looking like she forgot how to play basketball.
I felt like my shot felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating as a shooter, when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. That's what sucks about it, but like I said, I'm proud of our team. We didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of, but even that to the side, we're capable of winning this game without making shots. Our defense could have been a little bit better. We were down 8 or something, maybe 11 going into the fourth. We had our chances. I felt like I said, we didn't play well. We didn't play to the level that we're capable of playing.
How does a star shooter go ice cold in the biggest game of her career? Well, Clark's stats from this game were so shocking you might think there's a misprint. But trust me, it's all true, and it's not pretty. Let's break it down. 11 points. That's it! Just 11 points from a player who averaged 19.2 per game in the regular season. And her shooting? Oh boy, 4 of 17 from the field, 2 of 13 from 3-point range. That's like watching a sharpshooter suddenly turn into, well, me at the arcade basketball game. You know what's even crazier? Clark missed her first 8 3-pointers. 8! Can you imagine how frustrating that must have been? Clark sure can. She even said, "It's so frustrating as a shooter when it won't go down for you." I mean, talk about an understatement. It's like saying it's a little annoying when your Wi-Fi cuts out during the final minutes of a closed game.
Me individually, the goal is to always get my best, and I take it on the chin. Look forward to what's happening on Wednesday. So I'm excited to hash out the details, look at the film as a group. Turning the page, man. There's nothing else I could do. I like to think that every time I step on the floor, I give my best. I think that our team tried to give our best.
But here's the thing, it wasn't just Clark having an off night. The Connecticut Sun's defense was all over her like white on rice. DeWanna Bonner, in particular, was giving Clark fits. They weren't just guarding her, they were practically living in her personal space. Every time Clark tried to drive, there was a Sun player right there saying, "Nope, not today, rookie." It got so bad that the Fever had to start looking for scoring elsewhere. It's like when your star player in a video game keeps getting blocked, so you have to pass to the computer players and hope for the best. Now you might be thinking, wow, Clark really blew it, huh? But hold on a second. Even on her worst day, even when her shot was more off than a politician's campaign promises, Clark still managed to contribute. She dished out 8 assists, grabbed 4 rebounds, and snagged 3 steals. That's like failing your math test, but still helping your classmates with their homework. It shows that even when her scoring touch abandons her, Clark finds ways to impact the game. You know what's crazier than Clark's struggles? The entire Fever team caught whatever she had. It's like they all touched the same cursed basketball before the game. We're talking about a shooting performance so cold it could freeze time. Picture this. The Fever, shooting under 40% from the field. That's bad enough, right? But wait, it gets worse. From 3-point range, they hit a measly 21.4%. That's like trying to throw a pebble into the ocean and missing. How does that even happen? But here's the real kicker. None of the Fever starters had ever played in a playoff game before. Not a single one. Meanwhile, the Connecticut Sun? They've been here so many times, they probably have frequent flyer miles for the playoffs. And boy, did that experience show. The Sun weren't just playing basketball, they were putting on a clinic. Alyssa Thomas, she casually dropped a triple-double like it was no big deal. We're talking 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 13 assists. Oh, and it was her 41st playoff game. That's more playoff experience than the entire Fever roster combined. But Thomas wasn't the only sun shining bright. Marina Mabre came off the bench and lit up the scoreboard with 27 points. It's like she decided, hey, why not have a career night in the playoffs? Meanwhile, the Fever were probably wishing they could hide on the bench. Now, it wasn't all doom and gloom for Indiana. Kelsey Mitchell showed up, dropping 21 points. But when you're down by 24 points at the final buzzer, one player's good night feels like bringing a water gun to a house fire. The final score? A brutal 93-69 loss for the Fever. This wasn't just Clark having an off night. This was a team-wide meltdown against a squad that treats playoff basketball like their day job. The Sun have played in 222 playoff games before this one. The Fever? Just 19. That's like a high school team going up against the pros. Here's a wild thought. What if losing by 24 points in your playoff debut is actually good? I know, it sounds crazy, but stick with me here. Could this humbling experience be the secret ingredient to Clark's future WNBA domination? Let's break it down. This game wasn't just a loss, it was a crash course in playoff basketball. Clark and her teammates got a front row seat to what it takes to compete at the highest level. It's like they jumped from the kiddie pool straight into the deep end of the Olympic-sized pool. Think about it. Clark went from being the big fish in the regular season pond to feeling like a minnow in the playoff ocean. She even called it a crappy game. Talk about honesty. But here's the kicker. She didn't just complain about her poor shooting. Clark pointed out how even small things like clock malfunctions threw them off. That's the kind of detail you only notice when you're in the thick of it. And let's not forget about the defense. The Sun didn't just guard Clark, they practically became her shadow. Every move, every attempt at a shot, they were there. It's like trying to dance at a party when your mom's watching your every move. Awkward, right? But here's where it gets interesting. The Fever didn't just stumble into the playoffs. They clawed their way up from a 13-27 record last season to a respectable 20-20 this year. That's like going from being the last kid picked in gym class to making the varsity team. Progress, people. Coach Christy Sides put it perfectly. They know what it takes to step up to that next level, that playoff level. That's what we're going to be. That's who we're going to become. It's like she's looking at a blueprint of a championship team, and this loss is just part of the construction process. And Clark? She's not sulking in a corner. Nope, she's taking notes. A lot of people in life want instant satisfaction.
I think, they were going to make adjustments. They were going to change up their schemes. They were going to change the matchups. We had talked about getting back the matchups that we wanted, that we thought would be helpful for us. And that's going to make a huge difference. And, the first 3 quarters we battled. I think we got rattled in the third a little bit when they started they hit some shots. But then we kept making shots, and then we really, that fourth quarter, we stopped scoring. And I'm pretty sure, like Caitlin said, when we go back and look, there was some wide open shots that would have given us even more assists right there. So, whatever matchup they come with, I still think we had some good looks. We just have to do a better job of hit 50 points in the paint.
You've got to work for it. You're going to go through some hard moments, she said. That's not just rookie talk, that's future champion talk right there. So yeah, losing by 24 points stings. It's like getting a face full of ice water when you're expecting a warm shower. But sometimes that's exactly what you need to wake up and realize what you're really up against. All right, let's recap what went down in Clark's playoff debut. It was rough, folks. The rookie sensation couldn't find her shot, the Fever's offense was ice cold, and the Suns' defense was hotter than a summer heat wave. It's like the whole team got stage fright on the big playoff stage. But here's the thing, it's not over yet. Game 2 is coming up Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. ET on ESPN, and it's do or die time for the Fever. Clark's not one to back down from a challenge though. She said it herself. I have all the confidence in the world in this team. I know we'll be a lot better Wednesday. So here's the million-dollar question. Will Clark and the Fever bounce back from this nightmare start? Or was this playoff debut a sign of things to come? We'll find out soon enough.